everybody. This is my race report for the 72-hour Sea2Sea race that it was across the state of Florida. So this is my story. This is all of my feelings that I was feeling. All the crazy things that happened during the race, the things that I saw. So yeah, strap in and enjoy the story. So at the first day we started in St. Augustine, but we didn't start the race there. We got on the bus and they bused us towards Pine Island near Cedar Key, and we got there a little bit late, but that was fine. I was really nervous on the bus ride over. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know how I was gonna handle everything. But we ended up getting to the island, and we used the bathroom, and so we started running down this road. It was about 3 miles to get to our bikes, and my pack was sliding off, and the bib that they gave us, the shoulder straps were sliding down. So we ended up actually tying a rubber band to it, and that helped a lot. Once we got on our bikes, we started going down the road, and there's this trail that we had to go into. Once we got into the trail, it was muddy, very, very muddy. So we ended up having to walk our bikes through it, but at the end, I ended up actually just going around it, and I was able to balance on the hard spots, which was really hard. I thought I was probably gonna fall down on one of the parts, but we ended up going next to the first checkpoint, and it wasn't very well, it was put in the wrong spot on the map, or it might have just been put in the wrong spot. So one of the racers came by that found the checkpoint, and they're it's not here, it's over by the pier. I don't know, I didn't hear them, but that's what I think they said. But so all the racers went over to that area that the nice kind racer pointed out, and we found the checkpoint, and we started going. So we started biking a lot, and we saw our friend Jesse that was racing solo, and so we passed by him. We just kept going. We got a couple checkpoints along the way, and that bike was, I went really hard on it. That was not a very good idea. You'll find out why. We ended up going to the canoe section first, which was about I think roughly 10 miles, 6 miles. I don't know the exact mileage, but it was a pretty good distance. It took us around an hour and a half to finish, almost 2 hours. Once we got back to the TA again, we had two choices. We could do the trek first or the bike first. And after all of those two choices, we had a 90-mile bike ride. So we decided to just do the bike first, and then so we didn't put 100 miles all together. But so we did the bike first, and we tried to cut across and do some fancy stuff, which ended up getting us not that lost, but it's a little bit lost. And we came across this trail called the Drunken Monkey. Anybody who raced the race, and they'll know what I'm talking about whenever I say the Drunken Monkey was one of the worst spots, because it was so many trails that we had to follow, and it was such a hard trail. And it was for advanced and experts only, but I still went through it, but I kind of went through the easier spots. but we didn't find the checkpoint there, and it started getting really dark, and I just did not love that. I got really nervous because I was thinking about my trophy, or like my record that I was wanting to beat, and I was thinking about this girl Emma, and she was also doing the race, and I wanted to like make sure I beated her. And I mean, that sounds really mean, but I wanted to get the trophy. And I remember seeing the youngest racer award on the podium the night before for the pre-race meeting, and I set my mind on that. I wanted that trophy, and that was what my mind was on, and it messed me up, I guess. And once we got back to the TA after finding like a checkpoint, I slept, and my dad and my favorite teammate Doug went out to go do an O relay, and they did a trek while I sat back. I was back at the TA sleeping. Now, after they got back, they let me sleep for they slept for like maybe an hour or so. And so we got up and we got on our bikes and we just kept going, and we ended up crossing over, I think it was I-75, over like a bridge, and we were doing really good compared to what happened at the TA. So I think I did really good, but so it was pretty fun. Well, in the fun sense that I was doing good. And so we got through this town and we tried to get McDonald's, and we got there it was a 24-hour McDonald's, and we got there during the 1-hour reboot time period. And so that really sucked, but the guy that was working was really nice. He gave us a orange juice for free, because he felt bad, because he said he had bikers coming in all morning, all night, and he never saw someone as young as I was. Once we got through the big area of town, we decided that we would just like go get the checkpoint that was at this shopping mall area. I don't know where it was because my teammate got it before us did. We got there. But so the area that we were in, it reminded me of the Hill Valley area in Back to the Future. It had like the 2 poles that Doc Brown set up that wiring on so Marty could go back to the future. Sorry, just had to add that in there. But during that, my dad threw up really violently. He was okay. He does that all the time. But he threw up for violently, and I could hear him a block away. That's how loud he was. So we got back on the bikes, and we just kept rolling. So after a while, we got through this park and we got on this trail, and it wasn't really cold, but it was pretty cold during the night. So we laid down on like the side of a trail, and we slept until the sun came up. And after that, we got up, we got on our bikes, and we rode down to the next waypoint that we had to go through. So we started riding into this mountain bike trail area, and we went down into this trail, and we did a bunch of stuff, and we got through another trail that we had to go through that was supposedly easier, that a racer told us that it was easier. So we ended up listening, and we found the checkpoint, but to get to the checkpoint, it was hard. We had to like go through, not tall grass, but the grass was just horrible. And we were in like our easiest gear, and we were going nowhere. After a little while, we got to the well house, that is an old well house, and on the way there, we found a bunch of alligators in the water. Pretty cool. But we got the checkpoint that was at the well house, and our friend Jesse was there, and he came up before us. No, he came up after us, behind us, and we were like, Jesse, and he was like, yeah, I was sick. Turned out that he went too hard on the paddle section, and he got really sick. So for a while there, he started to ride with us. And so we ended up riding with our friend Jesse for a little while, and we ended up losing him because he had to put some stuff in his water, some electrolytes. And so we stopped at a Wendy's. We didn't get any Wendy's though, so we stopped at a McDonald's, and we got some McDonald's, and we also met up with Jesse and my dad's friend Gomez. And we also ran into a team that was raced the Heart Springs race that we did, and we were with them for a while there. But so we started going, and we had to end up leaving Jesse behind, sadly, because he was trying to clear the course, and we were just trying to get across the state. So we finally got our checkpoint. I forgot where it was, but then we ended up going across this creek, and we went through muck, so much muck, and I hated it. I hated it so much. But I'd rather go through that than go to school. So after a while, we decided to sit down on this bushwhacker, I guess. It was like a bush mower. So yeah, we ate some snacks. It's called a bush hog. So we ate some. I ate some peanut butter crackers, and the world record holder at the time found us sitting there, and he was like, "Don't do the trek section; it's horrible." So we ended up we listened to him, and so we got back to the second TA finally, and they made me a double cheeseburger, really good. And then we started our canoe section after a quick nap. After the nap, we ended up going towards the canoe. We trekked like 3 miles to the canoe area, and we got in the canoe, and we just Doug and my dad started paddling while I filmed some video. Check that video out after you finish this video. It shows us during the race and not after the race, so it'll be pretty fun to watch. But so we had gotten finished with the canoe section, and I was pretty cold, so we put on some layers. Not more layers, but I put on a sock hat, and I walked around a little bit to get warm, to warm myself up, and then we started trekking to TA3, and we got there. I slept on the concrete, and I passed out. On that walk, I hallucinated. I hallucinated of these 3 people, and they were in black and white, like a suit basically, and they came out of this woods from a hallucinated house that I just made up out of my mind, and they came up behind my dad and my favorite teammate Doug, and they were like, "That's him." And so I walked up behind them, and they ran off into the woods, and then I focused more on it, and there's just nothing there. So pretty weird, but yeah. After we had a good sleep, we got on the bikes, and we just started going. We went on the highway. Yeah, that's what it was. And we skipped over a couple of checkpoints because it was long anyways. The mileage was underestimated. It was said to be around 40 miles, but we did around like 58. Now that bike ride seemed long, and it was long. And so we finally got to the TA4, and we did the trek section. We got the 2 checkpoints that we needed to get for 1 point, because each checkpoint was worth a half a point, I think it was. Well, it wasn't really half a point, it was just you had to get 2 in order to make a point. So I'm just considering it a half a point for each. But if you only got 1, just cancel out that half point, I think. But so we got back to the TA, and we decided to sleep under a oak tree. We did this so we wouldn't get wet from all the dew, but that was not a very good idea. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I got bit up pretty badly. Not too bad, but I got bit a pretty good amount. Can't really see it on this hand. It's mostly on this hand. I got a bug bite on my foot too, so pretty miserable. And so we ended up moving back under to the TA, and we slept for a good amount of time. I slept for a good amount of time. I don't know about anybody else. And I woke up to my teammate Doug telling me that the race was over because someone had lost their lives due to an accident on the road. And at this moment, I was sad because I thought since the race was over, all my progress would be like just lost. They wouldn't count. After a while, we picked some people up in the back of put some people in the back of the truck, and we bussed them back over to St. Augustine because there really was no other way to get a bus over there, so we just put them in a Penske truck and a U-Haul, and we bussed them over to St. Augustine. And so we got them to St. Augustine, and I was tired. So on the next trip over, we put we didn't pick anybody up because everyone else had a ride. So we put gears and bikes, we put like bins and bikes and paddle gear in the Penske, and we trucked back, and I fell asleep in the cab because the seats were really nice compared to what I've been sleeping on. So we got back to the St. Augustine Hotel, and we had to sit outside for a while, and so we went up. I saw people walking back with medals around their neck because they went up to the tent and they gave them medals. So I walked up to the tent to see if they were handing out medals, and talked to the race director, Jeff, and he told us like whenever he heard like a 3-person team was like hit, he was worried about me, and he started freaking out. He was all like, "Where's Miles? Where's Miles?" And someone finally said, "Oh, he's in TA4." And he was like, "Oh, good." And so sad. I mean, still, it's sad that someone died, but it's still kind of nice to think that someone had, like, people were thinking about like my team whenever. So I got the lady came over with the youngest racer award, and I started crying because I was happy. And this was the trophy that I saw on the pre-race meeting. I didn't know they would have an actual trophy, but they did, and I got one, and yeah, my goal was completed. I finally got what I wanted, and so this made me very happy. During the entire race, Hunter, the previous world record holder of the youngest expedition adventure racer, came up to me, and he encouraged me to keep going. He's told me throughout the race multiple times he's proud of me. At TA4, when people found out that there's a 3-person team that got injured, Hunter found me and he was like, "Oh, good, I'm glad you're here." And a little while after, he asked me for a hug, so I hugged him. And thanks to Hunter, while we were waiting around, our friend Jesse was waiting with us, and there's things after race, you start getting cravings, and he pulled out a bag of these Jolly Ranchers, and he was like, "Yo, you want some Jolly Ranchers?" And I picked out one, and he's like, "No, take a few." And then I took a few, and he's like, "You know what? Take as many as you like." So I took the entire bag. Yeah, I took the entire bag. So it's pretty good. After our friends have left us, and my awesome teammate Doug left us, we went in the hotel room, chilled out for a bit, and then we called my mom, FaceTime her, and then we went to the St. Augustine Beach to fill up this bottle of sand. It has the West Coast and East Coast on it, and I don't know if you can tell. It's really hard to tell, but you can probably tell on this side. On the side, you can see the difference, and on this side, you can see it. The difference of each sand. It's hard to tell on camera probably, but so we filled the bottle, and we took a shower. Well, I already took a shower, I think. I don't know when I took a shower, but I took a shower, and we ate Chili's, and we went to bed, and we're in the car now. So this was my story or my race report of the Sea2Sea adventure race. So pretty long story, but yeah. Make sure you guys get outside. I think that's how I should say it. But yeah. Bye.